The family of a postmaster who was found guilty of killing his wife say they hope new evidence will prove his innocence.
Robin Garbett is serving a minimum of 20 years in prison for the murder of Diana at their post office in Melsonby in North Yorkshire in 2010.
He insists that an armed robber committed the crime. His family say they believe him and hope to prove it at the Court of Appeal next month. Johnny Blair reports.
Now, some of the region's biggest companies have been inside Alcan, trying to offer some hope for hundreds of workers facing redundancy.
More than 300 employees at the Northumberland plant will do their last shift next month. We sent our correspondent Dan Ashby to the jobs fair to ask what life will be like after Alcan. £1 billion competition that could revive plans for a clean coal power station on Teesside has been announced by the government. Well, there's plenty still to come in this evening's programme, including an update on all this snowy weather. Creating jobs and cracking down on crime and antisocial behaviour were the key messages from Ed Miliband. He launched Labour's local election campaign in the north last night.
He believes his party can win back Carlisle City Council in the local elections next month. He spoke to our correspondent Hannah Lomas. Baller Gary Parkinson say he could be the 44-year-old who also Burnley, Blackpool and Preston has locked-in syndrome, the result of a stroke in 2010.
Gary remains in a serious condition and communicates through blinking. Now, thanks to a series of fundraising efforts led by his son Luke, his departure from hospital is a step closer. Mike Hall reports. Brighton are fighting an increasingly desperate relegation battle, but they're also pulling out the stops in their bid for financial survival when Simon O'Rourke looks ahead to the new cricket season.
First, though, a woman was left shocked when her bank declared her dead. Anne Gray, who's 72, has an account with Santander, but somehow a deceased marker was placed on it, and letters began to arrive expressing sympathy to her family.
Well, as we heard earlier, talks are continuing to avoid a fuel strike, but some local businesses say they are struggling to cope with the uncertainty.
Petrol station forecourts have quietened since last week's panic buying, but is this just a lull before another storm? Helen Pearson's been investigating. Well, the fuel story dominated the headlines last week. Let's take a look at what's making the news in tonight's national news.